hello, and welcome once again. J76NY here. And this is episode number 22 of our playthrough of Suzerain Rizia. Last episode, things did come to a head with Palais. We had a contentious meeting with Duke Reinhardt, and you didn't see that. We are most likely guaranteed to be at war with them soon over the oil fields or the gas fields, the Aureus gas fields. Read the news before we get started in today's episode. Despite the best efforts of King Romas to secure a last-minute agreement between Palais and Rizia following the military incident, it would appear that the Palesian Duke is unable to come to his senses. Well, for a refresher, in case you forgot, we had a encounter with some of their warships, and there was a collision between one of them and our flagship. That was why we were meeting with Reinhardt to see if we could work things out. His demands were too much, so we are going to stand our ground. Our king has reportedly boarded a plane back to Rizia as the armed forces are placed on high alert. A further escalation of the conflict now seems unavoidable. Glory to the troops. Palais and Rizia at war. Well, I guess we are at war. As the first reports of fighting on the Palesian border started coming in last night, one thing has become clear. Rizia and Palais are at war once again. While the palace hasn't commented yet on these early reports, King Romas has announced he will give a speech later today. For now, the Royal Herald declares its commitment to our brave troops and praise for their victory on the battlefield. Geopolitics says Rizian King leaves Palais in a hurry as talks break down. Last effort talks to avoid a conflict between Rizia and Palais hosted in the latter's capital seem to have broken down as King Romas left the country in a hurry. Neither side has issued statements, but insiders have reported the mood within the Palesian government appears grim, with many expecting war to break out. The international community has once again called for restraint. Both those calls appear hollow after having been repeated so many times before. Fighting erupts as Rizia seemingly invades Palais. Last night, first reports started emerging of Palesian border posts being shelled by Rizian troops, as well as violations of Palesian airspace and the first tank columns. I didn't even know we had tanks. With the full scale of the incident is not yet clear, everything indicates a full-scale invasion. King Romas is expected to formally declare the start of the war in a speech scheduled for this afternoon. Already, CSP and ATO representatives have condemned the aggression, calling for an immediate retreat of Rizian troops and a restart in negotiations. We tried that. So, we're not going to screw around with Palais. One thing I did get, a little bit of advice. I need money. I'm making -5 per turn. Most of that's coming from war expenditures. I have been trying to limit my inclusion of taxes into this playthrough just to try and keep the people happy, but I don't really know how well that's gonna go. Because we need money. -5 per turn is just not going to work, especially if we're at war. We're also going to take a look at some of these decrees, like this one that will, although decreasing my authority, increase the amount of house troops, military manpower, and military equipment. So we'll sign that. And then for the taxes, we're going to lose a lot of authority doing this. Let's see if we can, see if we can limit. See, there's, both of these seem to be, see here, landowners tax, +3 to the budget, -4 to the authority. We're going to lose a lot of authority. Oh, that's remove. +2 to the budget, -4 to the authority. So that would be 8 on our authority. That would leave us with 3. Nice. -3 on the authority, +2 to the budget. We don't really have the energy to be selling. +2 to the budget. That would wipe out all of our energy. +1 to the budget. We can't be selling any of our military equipment either. Alright, so that's +2. That's +3, so that would make up the negative per turn. I'm going to assign this one. +2 to the budget. Alright, so if I do this one, it'll bring us back to the black. It's also going to wipe out my authority, so I don't think I really have much choice at this point. So we've got 3 on our budget. We're down to -3. I thought that was going to increase. Not good. Alright, well, let's, landowners tax, that's all there. Non-Rucus tribute to be issued by the crown. The bold move of the palace announced today that the king has signed a new decree implementing a 20% VAT on non-Rucus religious communities. Landowners are targeted with fresh taxes. Provincial levies increased. King encourages voluntary enlistment. Alright, let's get into the business here. Homeless rate highest in southeast Maricopa. Porte de Rezan's homelessness rate has broken a new record, surpassing other cities in the region as it passes the 0.8% threshold. City officials indicated that it started to threaten the city's global reputation as a popular tourist destination. Alright. The alignment of the 6 stars at the Porte de Rezan Observatory. Porte de Rezan Observatory Tower stood tall against the night sky, stars twinkling overhead as my motorcade arrived beneath it. However, it now functioned more as a museum than for astronomical observations due to the city's light pollution. It served as a tangible relic of Rizia's bygone era when celestial wonders were more easily unveiled. I'd come to meet with the Grand Wiseman Ignatius for the alignment of the 6 stars, a rare Rucus celestial event that occurred every 200 years. I harbored doubts that the event lived up to the hype, but accepted Sal's invitation regardless. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time, eager to see what the stars would reveal. I like that one. I preferred a quiet night in my study over this celestial spectacle, but duty required that I attend. I hoped for an evening with Sal free of state affairs, but I knew escaping that gravitational pull was wishful thinking. Nice play on words there. I'm going to go with number 2. The alignment is sure to be impressive from that vantage point, says Titus Gordon, my chief of security. I hope the view is worth the climb. Let's ensure that our perspectives remain down to earth, concentrating on your task at hand without letting your mind wander too far. Seems kind of insulting. I'm sure that the view will be awe-inspiring, a testament to the grand design of our Creator. Offers a poignant reflection of our existence with the vastness of the universe. It is truly humbling, sir. Before long, Titus and I vacated our vehicle, went inside, and ascended the spiraling staircase. The celestial event held the prospect of a connection to the divine, a moment that I'd been anticipating with interest. We eventually reached the top. I was nearly out of breath, where Titus seemed to breeze through it without breaking a sweat. 2 guards greeted us at the door, one of whom opened it. I stepped inside while Titus remained behind. The dimly lit room carried the scent of aged books and burning incense, while candles cast off a soft glow. Sale was hunched over the altar, adorned with celestial charts and religious artifacts, seemingly unaware of my presence. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Sale, my trusted spiritual advisor. I've been looking forward to this visit. He looked up as if startled. Forgive my oversight, Your Majesty. I didn't realize you had entered. I've been immersed in arrangements for tonight's holiest of events. I could re-enter if you'd like and try again. No harm, no foul, buddy. It's all good. Wiseman's face lit up with a gracious smile. Well, I'm delighted you're here. An exhilarating event awaits you. It's remarkable that we're about to witness the same celestial alignment St. Ruhek beheld so many years ago. You're acquainted with the story, aren't you? It's unsettling that you doubt my familiarity. I have no idea what he's talking about, though. That I am. It symbolizes the timeless connection between our faith and the heavens. Vaguely, I mean, I know about as much as the next person. Yes, I've been preparing myself for weeks. I'll BS him with that one. As we celebrate tonight's event, I'd be honored to retell the story. By all means, let's hear it. I'm kind of curious. Sal cleared his throat and began to pace around the room. In the tenets of Rukism, there unfolds a celestial saga, the alignment of the 6 stars. Imagine St. Rukek, our venerable faith's architect, embarking on a sacred sojourn into the cosmic vastness. Guided by divine insight, St. Ruhek witnessed the cosmic ballet, grasping the profound significance of this alignment. With spiritual brilliance, he condensed the 11 pillars into 6, aligning them with the celestial bodies, now recognized as planets. I'm sorry to admit that I know less of this than I thought I did. No one is perfect, Your Majesty, but as I was saying, St. Ruhek perceived the alignment as a symbol of spiritual evolution, a journey towards a more harmonious interconnectedness of the cosmic and spiritual realms. Each aligned planet embodied a pillar, became a torch, illuminating simplified teachings and a testament to the diverse perspectives within Ruhism. The alignment of the 6 stars acts as a celestial guide, directing the faithful on their journey to enlightenment. And that's what we're here to bear witness to tonight's event. Okay. That's right, now I remember. Thanks for the reminder. Nicely done, though I may give a bit of constructive criticism. Could have been shortened. We'll go with that one. If you follow me to the balcony, we can continue our discussion while bearing witness to tonight's event. I stepped into the cool evening air alongside him. Porte Drazon sprawled beneath, its lights flickering like stars in the night. However, when I gazed upward, there were no stars to be seen. Nothing but clouds blanketing the sky. Sounds like he lives in upstate New York during most of everything, including a once-in-a-lifetime eclipse. Seems like the heavens have other plans in mind. Looks like we won't bear witness to the alignment after all. I'm going to go with this one. I have to. I live in western New York, and eclipse, meteor showers, aurora borealis, it's all clouded over every single time. Cloudy skies may conceal the celestial wonders, but with patience the beauty may yet be revealed. The cosmos has a language of its own. Tonight it speaks of destiny and intertwining of fates. As the one shaping Rizia's destiny, I speak its language fluently. Until then, let's pass the time by speaking about the state of religious affairs in Rizia. Oh, if I thought I could get out of that one, I would. And I do hope its message illuminates our religious journey. Speaking of which, how do the people of Rizia interpret the cosmic language? Intriguing, please go on, because he's going to do it anyway. I shall first speak of the prevailing religious factions within Rizia and their opinions of the crown thus far. He's just going to ignore what I said and go on. The Rukas community seems to have a neutral opinion on your reign. The fact that the arch-sanctuary of Plavo continues to deteriorate has not sat well with them. With that said, I have heard complaints within the community about the Crown's refusal to improve living standards for commoners. With little help coming from the government, the onus is on the church to aid those most in need. I don't see a problem with that. Charity is a Rukas principle, is it not? If these subjects are truly worthy, the Lord will provide for them. I understand. I'll see what I can do. Better meet the needs of our lower class. I don't want dependence on handouts from the crown or the church. People must pull themselves up by their bootstraps. I understand, Your Majesty, but poverty often traps individuals in a cycle that's difficult to break. If the current situation continues, I'm afraid it may lead to mass discontent. Now, as for the Dasnurist, they harbor no negative feelings towards you, yet they haven't developed notably strong positive impressions either. Your refusal to fund the Grand Sanctuary they requested in Celebes has notably diminished Your Majesty's likability in their community. They perceive it as a symbolic representation of the decline and neglect of their religious heritage within our kingdom. Prince Noah is watching over my shoulder. As a community composed primarily of Rukist, Wezeks, and Rombergians, they have repeatedly petitioned for better treatment for foreigners. And the steps you've taken to entrench Rukism as Rizia's state religion, while appreciated by me, of course, have been met with resistance from them. Sometimes difficult decisions must be made for the greater good, even if they impact personal likability. Difficult decisions indeed. So far what I'm getting from this is my religious community has kind of give him, or take it or leave it type of attitude towards me. As for the Golcondas community, it goes without saying that the blasphemy laws continue to strain relations, as was your decision to not allow their pilgrims to cross into Rizia from Morella. Overall, the Golcondist opinion of you is low. I would advise vigilance. Their radical beliefs, especially those of Dirty and Golcondist, mean they may cause trouble if their needs are not met. I'd like to speak more about Dirtia. They are the one neighbor with whom I haven't had any diplomatic interaction. At talk with Supreme Wiseman Asmal is long overdue. He's nuts, so we'll try and avoid that. Enough about what Rizia's religious communities think of me. I want to know the opinion of the Grand Wiseman. And the last option was, I'm sick of listening to you talk. Let's just wait for something to happen. Basically. I'm honored that you would want to know it, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, if I may speak candidly, I've noticed shifts during your reign, particularly in matters related to the role of religion. While I believe you have the kingdom's best interest at heart, I worry that these changes might inadvertently erode the sanctity and devotion traditionally linked with our one true faith. I must confess, I took the failure to repair the Arch Sanctuary of Plavo following our visit rather personally. Simply put, I feel that your priorities as king are not as aligned with our kingdom's Rukas roots as they should be. I urge you not to underestimate the power of our cherished religious tradition and to reconsider the role of Rukism in government. Prioritizing earthly laws over celestial ones may be imperative to achieving unity. That makes sense. Our kingdom's strength is in the steadfast loyalty of our subjects. First and foremost, I want them to have faith in me, which they apparently don't. Regardless of whether we're constrained by earthly or heavenly rules, both can be readily bent to secure one's goals. I'm going to go with that one. Are you proposing a change to a time-honored religious order that has remained steadfast for centuries? I'm not suggesting we make any drastic changes, only that we keep our options open. I intend to evolve our religious traditions thoughtfully, ensuring they remain meaningful and unifying for all. It's unity I seek above all else, and if religion in any manifestation... God damn, only game I play makes me yawn like a freak. Not that I'm bored by the game or any of this, it's just, I think it's the constant talking. I need to breathe more. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway. I believe in the importance of upholding the one true faith. However, I fear it might lead to further divisions within our borders. We'll go with the neutral one. Our guiding principles are etched in stone, resistant to erosion, signifying their unchanging nature. My God. However, I will concede that even stone can be sculpted with thoughtful craftsmanship when necessary, or to put it more plainly, while I'm unapologetically partial to Rizia as a Rukus state, I will concede that there is more than one approach that could be considered. Those being, well, for starters, maintaining Rizia's Rukus roots to preserve the status quo. Alternatively, we could embrace a pluralist faith-based state, recognizing the diversity of beliefs in our realm. That's not a bad idea, Sal. That's very open-minded of you. With both Rukism and Dasnerism at the helm, I'd imagine. Lastly, I can't believe I'm saying this, you could separate religion from government entirely, taking a secular approach that would allow each citizen the freedom to navigate their faith independently. All of which, bear in mind, comes with specific drawbacks and advantages. Oh my. Tell me what a governance that accommodates nerdy as a whole would look like. What do you personally believe we should do? Come now, Your Majesty, as a devout follower of Rukism, it's only natural that I'd stand firm for it in our kingdom. In fact, towards the end of his life, your father and I discussed the possibility that religion wasn't playing a large enough role in governance. The Resnids recognized how holy this land was. Their ancient scripture spoke of a future leader who would bring about Golconda by serving as a conduit between God and the people. Essentially, the second coming of Saint Ruhek. Sal raised a knowing smile, hinting at a deeper implication in his words. Good for the Resnids, but a modern king wouldn't be taken seriously if he developed too much of a god complex. I'm trying to make Rizia a better place through my policies, not through centuries-old doctrine. A future leader? Talking about me, boy? Wonder if he is. A certain possibility, however, my visions have yet to bring clarity on the matter. What would a secular state look like? In a secular state, the governance would operate independently of religious influence. Policies and decisions would be based on law, absent of the influence of specific religious doctrine. It would potentially promote inclusivity by ensuring equal treatment for citizens of all faiths and those with none. Doesn't it risk losing the moral compass that religion often provides in governance? What are the drawbacks? Your Majesty, while equal treatment is commendable, it may lead to the loss of divine guidance in decision-making. Without religious principles, the government may lack a moral compass, prone to wandering aimlessly. Additionally, straying from this path It risks dishonoring our Rukistic heritage and the sacrifices our forefathers fought to uphold. While I value progress, I stand by our generational tradition. A secular government may not be the answer. I probably should have read the rest of them. You've given me a lot to think about. It seems the path I choose for Rizia's religious future could shape our kingdom. There's something else I wanted to ask. It's regarding the role of religion in armed conflict. Speaking of religion and governance, if I'm overdue for a visit to Dirdia, can we discuss how their theocracy... I don't want to go to Dirdia. Oh, by all means, ask away. I seek some guidance regarding our escalating tensions. We might have to resort to violent actions and zeal. Would you advise me on the matter? I'd be more than happy to illuminate the spiritual facets entwined with our current situation. What would you like to know? Does Rukism condemn using force to reclaim what's rightfully ours? I fear pacifism is just a convenient excuse for inaction. Resolving the zeal issue through violent means troubles me deeply. Does Rukism justify such conflict? There may come a time when I need to explain our actions to our people from a religious perspective. What does Rukism say about that? As Rukists, we are committed to peace, but what if violence is needed to maintain that peace? Go with this one. Maybe appeal to their faith if things go south in zeal. Your Majesty, the principles of Rukism promote peace, unity, and the pursuit of harmony. War goes against these principles, giving rise to both suffering and discord. However, in the sacred text, we find instances where war was deemed just, a means to protect the divine order. How can we know if our clash with Wayland aligns with the divine order? Justified? That wasn't what I was expecting to hear. Please continue. Certainly. In simple terms, the scripture acknowledges just wars, conflicts fought in defense of the divine message, or to protect the pillars of enlightenment. Yet we must scrutinize our motives. In our just cause, is our cause just, or are we swayed by ambition? War should be the last resort, employed only when all avenues of peace have been exhausted. I value divine guidance, but my priority is the well-being of my people. Therefore, I'll align our faith with the path that ensures our realm's prosperity. Then we must ensure that our war is righteous and serves not personal gains but divine order. Yet, relying solely on war as a final option might lead to overlooked opportunities or even outright defeat. Okay. None of those were really all that good. He liked it, though. Precisely. If war becomes unavoidable, it must be waged with a heavy heart, a heart burdened by the weight of righteousness. We must be vigilant, for the divine does not condone unjust actions, even in the face of conflict. With all due respect, religious dogma is a guiding tool, not a master. I believe God would deem this war justified. In defending ourselves, we preserve our cherished values and tradition. Then I'll need to ensure that my next move in the conflict aligns with the principles of Rukism, as provided by our sacred text to justify it. Look, I believe prayer does as much good as shouting at the wind. Same as trying to evoke a justification for war through religious doctrine and beliefs. I think our war is just, honestly. May the divine guide our action in accordance with the sacred teaching. You've given me a lot to think about. Seems the path I choose for Rizia's religious future could shape our kingdom profoundly. Notice how I just ignored that whole Dirdia thing? Maintaining fidelity to Rukism is critical, yet I'm cautious about the repercussions should we persist without change. I see the value in adapting to changing times, but with it brings its own set of problems. Maintaining unity within our kingdom is paramount. It's probably the most accurate out of all of them. Noble pursuit. However, I would encourage you not to take a course of action that undermines the core principles of Rukism. I continued looking out over the sky as the echoes of Sale's counsel reverberated in my mind. I knew any path I chose regarding Rizia's religious future carried the risk of creating a backlash. If I chose to change anything at all, as the questions consumed my thoughts, the heavens seemed to respond. The thick clouds that veiled the sky suddenly dispersed, revealing a celestial alignment of the 6 stars. The planet shone in perfect harmony. Below, the city hushed as onlookers collectively witnessed the extraordinary phenomenon. My God, it's even more breathtaking than I could have ever imagined. A divine spectacle indeed. Sale was too enthralled with the spectacle to hear me. The alignment seems like a cosmic reflection of choices, each planet representing an option, offering celestial guidance for governing a diverse kingdom. I was reminded of the vision Sale foretold of during the consecration of the king ceremony. Fractured crowns, soldiers in war, the lovers. Swarms of birds and 3-headed monsters. I'll navigate rulings based on practical governance without the need of stars. It's as meaningless as the visions you spoke of them in the catacombs, and so far those visions have kind of come true. Sight to behold. Your Majesty, I must know, as a man of faith, is your intention to further infuse that faith into all aspects of the kingdom's government? I got to make a decision now. I wish for Rizia to remain Rukist, and if you believe the church should play a larger role in the government, I am open to that discussion. Non-committal? I like it. God has spoken to me. The only viable path forward is to establish a holy kingdom governed by the doctrine of Rukism. I can't commit to any intentions right now. As I see it, the best way forward to fostering unity may involve embracing not just Rukism, but Dasnurity as well. We'll go with that one. A hush lingered between us briefly. The night, despite its darkness, couldn't obscure his disapproval. Whoops. I respectfully disagree with the notion of a dual religion approach, but it was one of the things you mentioned. Why'd you bring it up? Why'd you put the idea in my head? Oh, well, whatever. Rizia is a Rukist country first and foremost, and our core values should not be weakened. They could be expanded upon or shared, but that does not mean that they're going to be weakened. I strongly encourage you to take time to reflect on this and reconsider. Either way, as your counselor, I'll stand by your decision. Good, as you always should, peon. And your loyalty won't be forgotten. Rest assured that your concerns will be carefully considered. I'm still weighing my options and taking your concerns seriously. I trust your judgment to lead us in the right direction. It's been a pleasure speaking to you on this momentous occasion. I am honored that we could witness it together. Sale and I said our goodbyes before we parted ways. As I stepped out of the room, Titus greeted me with a brief bow. I hope everything went as expected, sir. More or less, though I would have been just as happy to read about the alignment in tomorrow's papers. If by went as expected you mean listening to an old man drone on about nothing, then yes, that's none of your concern. I feel spiritually rejuvenated. Why not? After descending the observation tower and stepping outside with Titus, I was again greeted by the celestial phenomenon above. Titus momentarily stopped in his tracks to gaze overhead. It was then that I realized this was his first time seeing it. This is astonishing. I've never seen anything like it before. Such a heavenly display unveils the divine touch. Yes, one could get lost in its display. Lost, but in the best way possible. After absorbing the spectacle for a final moment, Titus directed me to the waiting motorcade, and I continued my journey back to the palace. I do hope you were as moved as I was. If anything, I feel more pessimistic about the future. Skip. The alignment of the 6 stars did nothing but shroud the path I was about to embark on in darkness. That's all. The alignment fills me with optimism for the future, envisioning its influence on faith, governance, and celestial forces. Or the alignment of the 6 stars has not only graced us with its ethereal beauty, but illuminated the path I was about to embark on. Like this one. As we headed back to the palace, Titus and I discussed destiny and the intricate workings of faith as guided by the stars above. Alright. We've got average power projection, change state religion to nurity. Oh, it's a decree available. Remove state religion. Okay. Well, we've got options. Anti-planetary society's million-man march ends in comic failure. What the hell? The first annual launch of an event meant to bring together millions of like-minded anti-planet activists fizzles out before leaving the atmosphere. Organized by the group Anti-Planetary Society against the backdrop of the alignment of the 6 stars, the march was held outside the Arch Sanctuary of Plavo as a protest against the commonly held belief in other planets in our universe. However, instead of the expected 7-figure turnout, they managed to gather just 7 attendees. Wow. That's embarrassing. We had such high expectations, said Dickie Gubney, president of the Fringe organization. Misguided beliefs in the theory of planets is one of the greatest tragedies of our time. It's harming our society. Dude, you can see them with your eyes. Wow. Flat planet. No planets. Celestial spectacle unveiled. Alignment of the 6 stars captivates Rizian skies. Seems like everybody watched it and was unified for a time being. All right. Let's see. Anything going on around the map? What do we have here? Funding of religious charities. Choosing religious charities funding for nerdity. Oh, they're going to cost me some money? No. Fund none. And we lose authority. Wow. Well, we can't afford it. Sorry. I could have, actually. I could have. Wonder if I could buy tanks now. Thanks. Not enough resources. Or if we could buy tanks. Probably not. What do we have here? A conversation with Lucita Zaro. Let's see. Lucita and I just concluded our visit to Terador Air Force Base. Amid the whirlwind of activity, we barely got a chance to speak to each other. On the way back to the motorcade, she asked me to accompany her downtown. The city sustained heavy damage when Rizia reconquered it in the 20s. Attempts had been made to revitalize it, but several bombed-out derelict buildings still stood in its center. She ordered our driver to stop in front of the tallest one. It was completely boarded up, and the remains of a fire escape dangled precariously from the 5th story. In the dimming light of the setting sun, I could just make out an old mural painted on its side, an angular 1920s-style depiction of a palisade, defaced almost beyond recognition. This is what you wanted me to see, isn't it? We took back the city, and we will take back the rest. Where are you taking me, Duchess Cesaro? Patience, Your Majesty. She instructed my bodyguard to wait in the car and led me up to the entrance. Drawing a key from her pocket, she unlocked the door. Flickering lights illuminated the building's decrepit interior. We walked across the uneven concrete floor, stepping around shards of glass until we came to an elevator shaft guarded by a man in a crisp blue jacket. I noticed a brooch on his lapel shaped like a pair of swords. He and Lucita exchanged nods as they led us into the elevator. We ascended to what must have been the very top floor. The elevator doors opened and we stepped out. What the hell? Immediately, the atmosphere transformed. We were in a chic-looking lounge, its furnishings sleek and understated. The soft strains of jazz filled the air. A handful of patrons were sitting around sipping cocktails. They paid us no mind as we crossed the room to a cozy private booth by the window. Who are these people? Close friends of House Cesaro. We've been using this building as a members club since Rizia took back the Palais Administrative District. He smiled ruefully. Until we're ready to go public, this is the closest we can come to a proper date. Not many women would be so bold. I love that about you. I still find this ridiculous. I should be able to date my counselors if I want. Your father doing any better? Isn't this public? What if someone talks? Okay, we'll go with that one. I don't want to live life stewing over the opportunities I missed. A bow-tied server approached our booth to take our orders. Pelesian Sunset, Siegebreaker Sling. That sounds interesting. We'll try that one. Sounds good. I'll have the same. Great. Server bowed and left to fetch our drinks. While we were waiting, Lucita gestured out the window. Beyond the twinkling lights of downtown Terador, a line of steadily flashing beacons marked the border walls between Rizia and Palais. We're making our official declaration soon, aren't we? No going back from that. I have a bad feeling about this. The Lord has seen fit to send us to war. I'm ready. Rizia is ready. You sound like my father. The news of our impending war seemed to drastically speed up his recovery. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back on his feet by the time the war begins. That old dinosaur will be more of a hindrance than a help. I was looking forward to watching you order our troops around. He winked at me. You'll still get plenty of that, but he'll be invaluable for behind-the-scenes strategizing. I never wanted to end up in another war with Palais, but if we must fight, then I'm glad to have him with us. All the help in the world won't matter to the subpar military? Jesus. There must be some part of you that's excited by the idea of crushing the Pelesians to a pulp. Blushed. Well, maybe a little bit. What the hell? Just then, the server returned with our drinks. He carefully placed our Siegebreaker slings on the table. They were garnished with maraschino cherries. We took our beverages and raised them. To us. To victory. To us. There we go. He looked me in the eye as our glasses clanked. To us. Still holding my gaze, she took a slow, reflective sip. While we're here, I wanted to thank you for everything you've done for House Cesaro over the past years. I've been following my own instincts. If those happen to align with House Cesaro's interests, so much the better. Pleasing your family isn't as important to me as pleasing you. No need to thank me. Your house and mine share a special bond. I need your family's support. There we go. That's very sweet. I congratulate you on managing both. Your readiness to defend Rizia against Pelesian aggression won you many admirers in Cardes Monteclar. As did the steps you took to prepare our kingdom for the war we now find ourselves facing. Internally, our national security is not all that it could be. Let's not talk business now. We're in a secret nightclub, for Christ's sake, having drinks. Internally, our... okay. But it's not too late for something to be done about it. Not if it costs us money. Simply put, my family likes order, and they like monarchs who are invested in maintaining it. And how do they plan on rewarding me? Perhaps I should have been born in Azaro, which would have made this whole thing kinky. Shouldn't royal unity be its own reward? Obviously, you can count on the Azaro's full support in the war. Strong bonds between the crown and the military have always served this country well. During the War of Rizian Succession, my ancestor, Anna, drew up plans for a monarcho-military system of government. Rizia ruled by both the king and the army. Can you imagine? Well, now I got to balance between pissing her off and... tell me more, I guess. Another time. Ask my father about this when you meet him. He's got plenty of opinions about it. Let's defeat Palais. First things first. Completely right. What am I even doing, bringing all this up on the eve of a war? You haven't touched your drink yet. Yes, I did. While we're here, I think we should stop seeing each other. Sip your drink. It was a rich aromatic mix of gin, quince juice, and cherry liqueur with a hint of ginger. Just what I needed. Liquid courage. For the war? Indeed. This will be the ultimate challenge in my reign. Our troops will be with you every step of the way, and so will I. Thank you for bringing me here. I didn't know how much I needed a moment of respite. Next time we come here, the border over there won't exist. Tonight could be our last night together. Thank you for bringing me here. I don't know. Next time we come here, the border won't exist. We'll replace it with a monument to the lives we had to take to defend our sovereignty. We finished our drinks as the city lights twinkled below us. All too soon, it was time to rejoin Titus and begin the trip back to the... Wonder what would have happened if I did the whole, this may be our last night together thing. Alright, what do we have to do? Briefing on the invasion of Palais. Sovereign Memorial Commemoration. And down here, read the report. Together with Duchess Cesaro, King Romas has taken a tour of the Terador Air Force Base, inspecting the state of Rizia's air forces in the process of meeting with some of Rizia's most decorated. Okay. we're going to get into this in the next episode. I think this is a pretty good place to stop for the time being. We'll find out how the war is going in the next episode. There's surprisingly little I'm having to do here. I thought we would be placing troops. At least from what I saw in the pictures, there were little troops and tanks on the map. So that may still be to come. Who knows? I am eager to find out. I hope you are too. If you are, hit the subscribe button. If you like this episode, want to help it get some traction with the YouTube algorithm, hit the like button. Curious what you guys think, so leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll pick this up in the next episode, find out how our brave armed forces are doing in the war. J76NY saying thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a very good day.